All right, Henry McClure live. It's Friday night. TGIF, right? So, can you hear me now? First Fridays. But I'm going to tell you, next First Friday, we should have the art gallery open. Down at 520 Southeast 5th Street. I go down, and if you follow me on Instagram, I'm going to make an Instagram. I got to figure out the mesh of Instagram and Facebook and how it all works out. Did you know Facebook asked me the other day, would you like to make money on Facebook? Well, yeah, look who you're talking to. So here we are, the time conundrum. The how does Henry McClure behave more mayoral, and the time conundrum of a person that loves history. I mean, more. Everybody has always said, the historians, the people that look to the future, the more you understand the past, the easier it is to see the future. And what happened to me on May 2nd, 2015 was a glimpse of from the Big Bang to now. Boom, how we got here. So that should help me. In theory, then I should be the guy that can see the future. And a lot of times I've been very right about the future. But, and I'm going to talk about the time conundrum of looking back for a person that's been in recovery, because abstinence from your addictions helps you be able to sort out what's making you mentally ill in this world. Even Dr. Carl Menninger said we're all crazy. That's a quote. If you can find rosemary, and there were probably some people at the Topeka Country Club that even remember that. Oh yeah, back in the day, Henry, I was if I'd have stayed in Topeka, I'd have been a member of Go Topeka. Oh man, good thing I didn't. But I'm home. Home is where the heart is. Hey, Spencer and I were actually talking about where to put the money, and how the money would be sorted out if we just took the $5 million and put it into the road projects. That was a real healthy conversation. It was kind of funny too yesterday. His brother used to work for us at College Hill Pizza Pub. Not work for us. He was a partner in the deal. And then one day he quit. And I was telling Ryan, or Spencer, maybe you and I ought to have one talk about that off the record, just between you and me, and then never talk about it again. I said, I need 5-10 minutes. And he goes, well, wait a minute. What about my side of it? And I thought about it later. I go, well, maybe that's just one thing. We'll let the past be the past on that one. I've even gone down to city council and I've said Topeka and Topeka government is like alcoholics. They're like drug addicts. Like today, they're off riding bikes and we're broke. I think today they've already selected who's going to get the hotel, and one of the insiders of Topeka, and then that guy. Because don't you remember when Pee Wee Herman was here? He kept going, well, the right people have to own the hotel. The right people. And he actually, I think he took that post down, and I'm talking about Matt Pavarnik. Always called him Pee Wee Herman because of his little bow tie and his, wanting to be with the cool kids. And man, I wish that dude luck in wherever he's going back in Myrtle Beach. But you've got to, the time conundrum of moving forward and understanding your past. So for me, I've listened to the same sophistry over 65 years about Topeka. And I've been in 11 different towns and worked on hundreds of millions of dollars of renovations. And a friend of mine said, well, how come you haven't done better economically? Well, I've recovered at my own pace. Yeah. And I've had a lot of successes and I've had some losers. And what I've really liked about private enterprise is you don't have to go around talking about it. But like, okay, you stick your nose in politics and everything's. I mean, Topeka, everybody, you can't fart in Topeka without somebody knowing about it or smelling it. It's just the way Topeka is. And it's been that way for 65 years. Think about it. When I was born in 65 or 59, I'm 65, but in 1959, Gage Boulevard was a dirt road. Yes. And we were like the edge of town at 19th and Oakley. It was the edge of town. And there were 119,000 people in there were 119,000 people inside the city limit and some change, Somebody just sent me something. And we got 126,000 now. What's really interesting is I would have loved to known the size of government back then. You know, how has it exponentially grown? And I do need to sit down and write my platform. I mean, first it's about economic development because I can do it myself. I know how to do it. I don't need I don't need the chamber to tell me how to do deals. And it was interesting. How do you be pro business and tell this chamber, to stick it up their proverbials because they're trying to run everything. And it's not fair. It's not fair to the voters. We what we don't have due process for the voters. So go Topeka, and this is all part of recovery. You got to hash it out. You got to. I mean, even Mace used to say, if Mace would have been a little more ghetto, he'd go, come on, man, we got to chop it up. I could just see Mace saying that. But he was good friends with Jim Brown. And anyway, not that that has anything to do with it. Mace got more discrimination just being a Jew, or maybe because he married a Catholic. Who knows? Who cares? What it's about today, it's who shows up today. Who's the man who shows up today to make the deal to represent the people? And today I don't regret coming home to Topeka, but boy, do I see the corruption and I see the things that aren't working right. It was like last night at the I enjoyed being at the Old Town planning meeting. And Topeka Planning did a good job. I was talking to some of the boys there, Mike Hall and Dan Warner, about the idea of merging the planning departments. And but I do believe, as a community, we need to have unified planning, because I believe our community is Shawnee County, the border of Shawnee County. And our neighbors moved out after Brown versus Board. They moved out to the county, and there's been such a disconnect. And here's the point: we've got too much government. I think we've got ineffective and inefficient government in the county. And let the city speak for itself. Go buy a hotel. And then this hotel thing, I know who bought it. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. And if you ever want to come down and see the prediction, it's on the wall in that office. And we'll see who's right in the long run. What's funny sometimes, well, it's not funny at all if you're trying to make money. Sometimes the guy that's right doesn't make any money. $40,000 a year is not a lot of money, but for the aggravation of being the mayor of this town. And when I say aggravation, responsibility, time, talent, and treasure. That's what you have today. You have your time, talent, and treasure. And I think the responsibility of being the mayor is a very important one. And I really think the mayor can be the guy that can attract people to the community. And um, Matt Pavarnak got his pound of flesh, and he took orders from the board of the chamber, and really, to me, Matt was probably the mayor, excuse me, more than Mike Padilla. Matt was the head bureaucrat, and you've really got to look at the chamber. I'm kind of gone off on a tangent. You know what? Yeah, I'm sick of it. I'm kind of sick of that, because I've got stuff to do. I got deals to make. I don't have if Topeka doesn't want to change, okay, well, I can't change it. It's just like going to a bar and talking about how you alcoholics should quit drinking. And here's what's funny: there's so many of the people in Topeka that have looked down their into their nose over my alcoholism now that can't change. Well, maybe they're drinking too. Half the people that know the Henry stories were out getting drunk too. To have a decade, what I'm really looking forward to is the next decade. Did that. That's a sign. I am German. I'm Scotch, Irish, French, and German. But you can't make signs like that, because that's a little funny. Very little. Boy, I'm really pissed at the core request system. I really am. And the last core request really never got answered, about why they supported Senate Bill 104. And look, if it was the bureaucrats, if it was the city manager himself, then just why didn't he have the balls to say, Henry, I decided that we don't need a citizens commission. That by non-answering the core request, that's not cool. And if the mayor did it, Spencer says he didn't do it. And if you really take a look at what the Citizens Commission does, it engages all of Shawnee County, gets everybody at the table, but it also has like a mirror, a human from the citizens. But one of the best things I liked about last night were at the Old Town meeting. There were some people there, and I hate to say this, but I even stuck up for Karen Hiller. It was smart that she didn't come there last night, because then, they'd be jumping her about the hotel and about her record. And then the planning guys would have never had the opportunity to have a good, clear discussion just about the neighborhood. But thinking like a mayor at last night's meeting, and what I want to know today, when was the last time the city had a meeting with the hospitals about payment in lieu of taxes? When was the last time we asked? And that's the whole point I was trying to make to Spencer last night was, the guys that you deal with here, they ain't the only rich guys out there. But if you keep just enabling the same guys over and over, you're not going to attract new people in. And some of the stuff that's out there, why would you want to come to Topeka? I mean, you guys, it took 2 years to get a permit for Pizza Hut up on California. 2 years. And, quite frankly, right now, the city of Topeka is using the Sears Tire, Battery, and Auto and Mainline Printing. And I thought that deal was going to close in February. I mean, just nothing. There's no sense of urgency in the town. Time conundrum. So I think the city of Topeka needs to really help and get involved with the steering committee, because I think that if the hospital, like just Stormont Vale, if they've got money to put their name on the Expo Center, fairgrounds, if they've got enough money to name a building after themselves, they can chip in to the capital improvements around hospital. So, and the one thing I didn't really like was we probably shouldn't be trying to take probably our number one and most important industry. And for those of you that got vaccinated, you're going to want more health care because you're going to need it. The ultimate of division, the purebloods. So for all the blue bloods that got vaccinated, your days are numbered. It's a shame, man. Anybody that needs to get a pardon for medical procedures, you're in a world of hurt. And maybe a guy like me will never be able to convince anybody that I'm of any help or service. They got vaccinated. Pray for you guys. I will. I seriously will. And I do. Um, we need to focus on the Old Town area. Uh, well, what I said today to a friend who's on the infrastructure committee, we got to make sure. And actually, David Banks is on the committee over at Stormont Vale, but we've got to make sure that we get the most bang for the buck on behalf of the people that live there. There were a lot of good people that lived there in that area, and they had a lot of they brought forward a lot of good points. And these are our people. What one of the most unique things said last night that I like, and also I taped the whole thing. I'll get it out there to everybody. It was the the hospitals aren't, you know, we have to figure out how to, and the way I'll play it back on the tape, I guess. The way the young lady said this was, you know, we have to just kind of deal with the hospitals. There's not an interaction. Now I'm going to ask some people from Grace Cathedral, from the vestry and or Father Story, or um, who help out and be on this committee. And here's the thing, I want to help where I can, but also too, the more citizens that get involved with it, the better. You know, let it let it be. Let them be. Let them. It's their neighborhood. They live in it, and they should have the final say. But if people, if we the people can come forward and help give new ideas or bring relationships to the town, I mean, to the idea, the Old Town idea, well, then that's what we're supposed to do as a community. That's why I want to engage as mayor the 750 real estate agents in this town. Oh, and also too, if anybody's watching that was at that meeting, Brian Slosher said there's somebody that signed up over at Coldwell Banker to be a part of the Old Town. And I told him about what they said, what somebody said, that, hey, you're not selling Old Town. You got to write it. You got to write it better. We'll even write your ads. Sell Old Town. What I'm getting at is this: the 750 real estate people. If we just start, there is an organic way to sell Topeka, and this is what the aristocrats really don't understand, because they make a living. The big shots make a living doing something else. You know, they've got big businesses that provide money. They don't have to live day to day by deal. I mean, in a sense, everybody lives deal by deal in business, but just strictly on real estate deals. So you can put the money today into the infrastructure. But now this brings up the last topic, because I was telling Bianca Bantley on the other day, that I've gone down the rabbit hole now, and the only way through is to come up. I got to dig all the way through and come up, and far in, uh, can see too much. I see this is hey Ziggy, play that song. I can see clearly now.
Here's I Can See Clearly Now by Johnny Nash on Amazon Music.
Johnny Nash, baby. Probably you probably can't have Facebook. Why can't you have All right, Ziggy. Ziggy, turn it off. On some formats, I don't understand, the copyright issues, but got a big day tomorrow. Things can happen organically. Things can happen with different people if you just get the opportunity. And the I think some of there's a word I'm looking for, apathy. I think some of the apathy in Topeka is you can't change it. You can't change Topeka. So go get a 6-pack, light a fire out in the backyard, burn a weenie, throw in a bun, drink a beer, get up tomorrow and go to work. And I did that. Yeah, I had a good time doing it, but it was more than a 6-pack. The stove is hot. I touched it many times, but I'm here and no birds. I'm lucky. And man, do I look forward to the next decade. I'm on to something with the art gallery. That's fun. Well, hopefully we'll have it up and going by next first Friday. For those of you have known me from July 13th, 59, and there's some of you out there that do, we can change. We can. I have a cousin that's so aggravated because I got better. I'm not kidding you. Isn't that sad? See what we got here. A message. I've been working with Mace Siegel's nephew, Mike Siegel, who, when I joined the Mace Rich Company in 1983, I worked with him day to day. And Mike has had some recovery issues. And Mike's now 3.5 years of abstinence. And he's putting a lot of his recovery time into painting. And he puts love and energy into these paintings. And that's fun. That's fun. Um, reason I want to be your mayor in town is because I'm strong enough. I've dealt with guys a lot bigger than the guys around here that are big deals. I respect them. They've done well. They've done some nice things, but that doesn't mean the elected officials today should follow, you know, um, it's like they're hypnotized. They've gotten hypnotized. It's like they're drunk. It's like they're drunk and they can't get sober. The power. It's the illusion of prosperity if they do what they're told. One last thing before I sign off. There have been a lot of people that have watched this show that have given me great advice and good tidbits. And I want to thank the people that have supported the Doge. And promise you, I'm making a promise to you. that I'm going to start working on that information and getting it out there. The core requests that I get from the Shawnee County Doge people, I love you. Thank you for that. And don't give up on me. Just give me a little more time. And do you know how lucky I am just to be here? And and we'll see how long I can do it, but I'm going to try to move on in the time conundrum of recovery. Because isn't there a certain point in time where it just doesn't matter? It's the guy who shows up today. Oh, well, you know what happened a decade ago. And I signed a $25 million loan personally to be a partner in the College Hill project. You know, the big short when everybody failed and the banks failed and too big to fail, all that. Remember that? Remember the big short? We got behind on our payments. Kirk Kuda, you're more than you're more than welcome to tell Jim Klossman exactly what we were behind, but you got current. We paid the bills. But to put Lawrence Bay on the scale and College Hill on the scale of success, and to say that they're the same, that's pretty much bullshit. And hey, Jimbo, if there is an idea you like, tell me what it is. I want to focus on that idea. Oh, I had an idea today for Midwest Health as part of the Old Town plan. We ought to get some land. Wouldn't it be cool just to have like your assisted living right across from the hospital? It's like, well, let's quick parting them around. We could actually, wheel them over. Create a zip line, whatever. But if we had some assisted living right by the hospital, that might be good. And maybe I just think there's so much opportunity right now. I think there's more opportunity in Topeka than you can shake a stick at. I think that we've got to get a draw, and it's not the devil's anus. That idea, that ship sailed. A lot going on. Remember Walter Cronkite? And that's the way it is. May 2nd, 2025. I'm Henry Austin McClure, live. Good night, y'all. Love you. What a country.